So hello guys, back to the show, and today we have Anita,
Hi.
who is our case study, I can say.
Guinea pig.
This is proven fasting guru, I can say.
No, personal experience, yes.
Yeah, personal experience.
But guru level, I'm not sure because I still refer to
Just
few
good.
people in the YouTube community and also get Facebook community to help.
So the first thing is basically do your research. Don't just listen to videos, but then do your research thoroughly. So that's what you did.
Yes, I didn't straight away jump into it, but I've been doing intermittent fasting for some time, and mainly it was 18/6, is it? Yeah, so I realized that I eat my first meal at 12 and then I break last meal before 6. And then I realized that I cannot eat from 12 to 6. I have to have 2 meals, 12 o'clock one meal and 5 o'clock one meal. I cannot have it all throughout the day because then it like it clicked me, oh, that is intermittent fasting really, you know. And then I started testing my sugar because my carb was creeping up. I was not burning enough sugar. I was not doing ketone. I was not producing enough ketone. So I decided after my blood work, sometime in November 15th, I started full keto. Tested my blood sugar in the morning, and then I tested my before eating
Insulin
and
levels.
then after not insulin levels. I tested my insulin level in the blood work.
Okay.
But my daily, for my own accountability, I was doing glucose tests and ketone tests. So in the morning, it was very expensive affair, by the way, because one test strip was 5 ringgit, and every time I make a mistake, I 5 ringgit down the drain, start another one. But I did as soon as I wake up in the morning, I tested my glucose. So when I first started on the 15th of November, my glucose reading in the morning was about 7 mmol or 8. It was quite high in the morning. And then
This was fasting, yeah?
no, this haven't started yet. This was starting of the.
I mean, as in you're checking your
fasting.
blood when you are
Yes.
in a fasting state.
Yeah, fasting
Okay,
state. Yes,
okay.
fasting state. And then I realized that okay, I have to somehow figure this out. So I started fasting, and I would fast the whole day and check my glucose level in between just to check if I'm not going to faint or anything. And it was gradually going down. After 1 week of fasting OMAD, like I was doing 1 meal a day, I was managing that because I was already in keto, so I was managing that. I was not feeling so hungry, so I was doing that. And then after a while, I realized that I was not hungry even for the OMAD. I could go on the next day because I read that if you're not hungry, don't eat. So I was going on well because I have a lot of reserve.
So this is where you push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of reserve. So I was doing it. And of course, I had a lot of family problems because everybody was like, "You're not eating, You're not, try to eat just a bit." I was like, "No, I'm not hungry. I'm not going to eat." And then when I was doing that, I was also going on and I was testing my blood sugar, and it was going down. It was like I was at 4, and I was thinking, I'm not feeling dizzy, so it should be okay.
What was all these things people were telling me? Oh, you're gonna faint and all those.
Yeah, everyone was telling me all that, and it was not happening. And then I tested my ketones. My ketones was 6.0, and I was like, wow. And then they have this thing called glucose ketones index, where you divide that, and then if you're between 1 to 3, you are on the fat burning. So I was way below 1, and I wasn't sure, was I still fat burning or not? But they said that I was on the therapeutic level.
Yes.
So that was good because then I know everything in my cells are changing and my body are being repaired, everything. And then my blood glucose went down further. Now I'm at 3.5. Like that's my morning reading. So I texted him. I said, Dr.Shashi, am I still okay? How low can I go before I have to eat something? And he's like, "You're going good." That's how he's like, "Oh, terror." I was like,
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
fine.
Yeah, for those of you who remember the Insta story I put up, mine was at 3.2 at one point. So yeah, so 3.5, 3.2, you're still okay. As long as you're getting your energy from another source, which is fats.
Yeah.
And make sure that you know when to stop. That's the most important thing as well. When your body really needs it, you take it.
True.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I come up the lift or something, I get a little dizzy. But it takes, I don't know whether it was because of the low sugar or something like that. But then I always tell myself, okay, I can always go get a drink or get something to eat, because I'm not starving. I'm just fasting. I'm just fasting. So basically, I'm always allowed to eat at any time.
That's right.
To break
Please
it.
remember this part.
Yes.
Please remember this part. Making sure you're compassionate with yourself and you're willing to not be so rigid about your fasting is so important.
It's okay to break it when you feel like when your body needs the energy, external energy. You can always switch to that.
Yeah, and it's not even actually breaking it. There are versions of fasting. Your autophagy can still continue if you have things like coffee, if you have fats. If you have like avocado, autophagy doesn't stop. Yeah, so you can give yourself just a little bit of wiggle room and still continue, you know, so don't have to be so hard on yourself. Again, access to information.
Exactly. So information. Just because we told earlier that, you know, like constantly push yourself. If your body actually needs, you feel like you want to have something, your body is telling you to eat, go ahead, eat. Right? And if it's possible, when you're trying to break your fast or something like that, do not chug down a jug of juice. Never do that.
That's a definite no-no.
Yeah.
But I also realize that when I break because sometimes I do like 72 hours or 96 hours, and then it's like when I'm already, you know, I want to eat this, I want to eat that, and so I have this huge array of food, you know, and my mom will look at me and say, "Are you going to eat all of that?" I said, "I'm planning to." That's all in the plan. and then she'll say, "Go quite slower." So I'll have that. I would ideally like bone broth.
Good.
But my mom will make this chicken rasam. You know, it's amazing. So I'll have that.
Yeah, the same rasam which could cure COVID.
Yeah, and also tulang, you know, she will make. So I'll have that, and then it's full of fat and everything. And then I will give it a rest for about 1 hour, and then I will attack the food, because otherwise my blood sugar will spike very very fast. But then I also realized that even though you're eating keto, right, there are insulin sensitive food. There are some food, even though it's keto, but it raises your insulin level.
Protein, as I think I spoke in my previous video, proteins are going to give you a bit of insulin spike, slight insulin spike. Of course, carbohydrates and sugars are going to give you the major spike. And they are, you know, like the GI value is
I think the tenderloin increases your spike, but if you eat the Wagyu beef,
so there's more.
So eat expensive meat, okay?
So there's more fat in it, so you can even go for a ribeye. There's a lot of fat in ribeye as well. So
okay, ribeye.
Wagyu.
But it really puzzles me when like my husband will say, "I haven't eaten anything since morning," and I'll just give him this look.
I haven't eaten anything in 4 days.
I haven't eaten in 3 days. So like people eat 3 meals a day. I eat 3 meals a week. So now my pattern is every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays I eat 1 meal. So I have like a 2-hour window, because I miss, what I miss most is coffee with cream. So those are my luxury. But like you said just now, fasting for women is slightly different than men. I'm noticing that because I'm now 47, I'm going through perimenopause, and I need to balance out my hormones. So I fast, long fast on the first day of my period till the 14th day. And then I try to increase progesterone-rich food. I try to do that OMAD on those days, because I still feel guilty. I still have lots of weight to lose, so I still feel guilty to eat a lot of food during the non-fasting days. So I'm playing with it right now. My other problem is portion control. Like if I let go of the fast, right, I can't seem to rein myself back. You know.
In terms of sorry, go ahead.
No, thank you so much for sharing that. That's so important, because the process of fasting is equally important as refeeding. That refeeding process is very important, because it's not just the interactions with your gut microbiome, it's what you're doing to your mind, your psychology, that aspect that you were talking about. this is a great segue into our next section after Dr. Shashi says what he wants to say. But we'll get into the psychology of fasting as well, which is a different aspect. We've been talking about the biology, we've been talking about the science and all this other stuff, but there's an underlying reason as to why are you really fasting? You know, what's going underneath? What are your emotions trying to tell you? And that's a different thing. That will shift your relationship with the craving aspect of food. You know, so we'll get more into that. You're going to say something.
As when you, I'm sure, like before you got into the fast, you must have measured yourself and all those. So basically, what you were going through is a period of insulin resistance, as we spoke before. So when you are in a phase of insulin resistance, you're not going to be able to use fat as energy. In fact, you're going to be collecting fat for energy usage somewhere later. That's what your body tells you. This is a very old system where your body stores fat so that it can be used during famine, during war, during the time when you do not have food, which is never going to happen in another 1,000 years probably, because you've constantly got some shop open in the corner everywhere, especially in Malaysia. You know, never going to go into starvation mode ever. So
never say never. Look at COVID.
No, but you still have
food.
But what I'm saying, you never know. What if there's something that wipes out crops? You know, like you just never know.
You never know. But then I somehow find that Malaysia still have food.
And you know what? Maggi mee saves the day.
See, there is going to be some food.
We went from grass-fed Wagyu to Maggi mee.
So yeah, so in terms of measuring your fat percentage, how much of a drop did you see in your body fat percentage?
I lost 12 kgs in 3 months. And it was a steady loss. I didn't feel tired. I didn't have sagging skin. I'm very particular about that, by the way. And I was not feeling any way down. And my muscle mass, I don't think it changed at all. If I could have done DEXA scan, I could prove that, you know, that is true. But I feel like I am now on plateau right now. So I need to either ramp up my fasting, or I don't know what I have to do, but I'm just taking it cool right now because next month is Ramadan, so I'll be fasting again, dry fasting this time. So but I noticed one thing, I can't do dry fast when it's not Ramadan. Like I cannot stop myself from drinking water. But I do get very thirsty when I'm doing, because I'm doing like long 48 hours on regular, right? I need to drink, and I it's also a nice thing to know, because I feel like I am on high ketones when I'm thirsty. Because like you said, right, your body is using up fuel, so the fat fuel. So another good thing I realized with the fasting, long periods of fasting, is the brain. Like I'm so focused on certain things right now.
Yes.
Too much so that I can't even sleep at night. So yeah,
that can happen.
Yeah, that was quite hard. At night.
See, this now again we're leading into the psychology aspect, you know, because what fasting does is it gives you so much wiggle space. Now you have this energy resource that was not available to you before. Before, the problem was always, I don't have enough energy, energy, right? And suddenly you have an overabundance of energy, and it's like,
I don't know what to do with it. I was like,
the actual term was supposed to be, I don't know how to use my energy.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly,
and that is exactly the question to ask, because a metabolic lack of management in metabolic rate or system is the same as lack of management in the emotional system. You know, they're correlated. You know, your ability to be able to digest and process food, your ability to be able to digest and process emotions.
Yes, information.
It's the same thing. It really runs parallel. So what happens with a lot of fasting is when you suddenly have space open to you, two things can happen. Either you get into busy work, which is trying to distract yourself, so you start thinking about all sorts of like nonsensical things, or if you can start to get still enough, you will start to notice that there are 3 primal things that will come up. We were discussing it just before, actually. There are 3 primal things that will float into your system or your awareness. Every single organism, whether it's a single cell organism or a complex being like human beings, all of us are run by these 3 survival mechanisms. Those 3 survival mechanisms are fear, right? Fight, flight, or freeze, right? We're taught to do that
3
because
Fs,
we
yeah.
need to survive. That's the first one. The second one is food, right? So that's what we are really grappling head on with the fasting process. The third one is, it's another F word, we call it fornication, right? The ability to procreate, right? That's the other thing that you are going to be fasting from, usually, especially for religious fast, it usually goes hand in hand. So all these stuff will start to come up now. Your triggers around the needs of these things, and what you're actually confronting on a psychological level is, what am I actually using food, sex, and fear for? Are you using it as a way to distract yourself from the real emotions that are happening inside? Most people, especially women, have a very intimate relationship with food that has to do with control, right? And the things that they don't get from their husband, that they don't get from their children, they look to the food to give that to them. You better give me pleasure. You better be like, because they're not getting it.
Taste like
You promised me you taste good, All that dialogue is actually the dialogue that has not been expressed in your life. It is calling for you to pay attention to that. So if you want to go to the next level of fasting, this is the spiritual fasting or the psychological fasting. Is you become aware of what's driving your movement towards food, what is driving your motivation. When you break that down, then you can start to break apart the craving, so to speak, because that's emotional craving most of the time, right? Because already your physical body is fully capable of going without it. So it's not a physical craving that you're grappling with, right? So that's the psychological aspect of
so psychological aspect plays a role, big role, and this is the first thing that I heard when I started venturing into fasting. This was like 3 years ago probably, and at the time it's still in my mind, and that's the driving factor for me actually. But when I want to fast, is when you know and control what you are able to eat and when you want to eat, you'll be able to control everything else. That's one thing. Yeah.
It's really powerful. It's really powerful. A lot of people are getting into fasting now because of weight loss and immune system and all. But if you understand how much freedom it is actually giving you in your life, and the amount of power in choices, right, in any aspect of your life, you can wait, pause, and decide later. A lot of us make impulsive choices, whether it's choosing a life partner, choosing a business, we wish we wouldn't have done that so quickly. And this is the pause. This is the pause button. You can just wait it out, So
half the time when you wait it out, then you actually make a better choice on your food.
Yes.
Like sometimes I'm hungry and I know I need to break my fast, but I'm not at home, and my food choices are quite crappy on the outside. And I'm like, another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes, it's not going to make a difference. So I just drink some water, I go home, I have a nice piece of meat, usually from my daging. It comes in a very handy pack. I just take out and do it. And then of course I'm still living with family, right? So I said, what are you cooking out for yourself? Why not for me? So this is very expensive meat, don't eat. I earned it. So I'm going to eat this by myself.
It's not expensive, it's very affordable. It's cheaper than grain fat.
And then I choose wisely now. Because I feel like after you've fasted all that and you've cleared your whole system and everything, you don't want to put back junk in there. And I appreciate food a lot more now.
Yes, that's the thing I was going to get into.
When I eat something, I say, wow, this is really good. So I tend to,
You'll appreciate because you're doing all this, there's a lot of effort involved in it, so you would want to, really know what you're putting into your body.
So
the quality makes a big difference, because when you're eating the food, it's not just, we joke, right? Oh, grass-fed, Wagyu, all this stuff, but it matters where the food is coming from, how it was raised, what's going into the body, the liver. If you're eating all these different organ parts, which some people really do, like you're eating those antibodies, antibiotics,
hormones injected, or whatever. Everything is going to go into you.
Goes back to you. So it's not just like I'm going to do the right thing. It's like, understand like the cause and effect of what your choices are making. And when you do things like this, where you're limiting the food based on just what you need, right? You just take what you need, then you can make choices to eat the more expensive stuff. Because you're not eating 24/7 all sorts of different things. You just take that money that you've spent and just utilize it in a more quality
way.
Food. Yes.
And you also tend, like you say, you make more informed. Like I only have this window of eating, so I'm not going to eat any rubbish. I'm going to make plan and eat a good food. You know.
Yes.
And who says food's going to be boring? Look at our website. All those are all keto.
Yeah.
And like we even have keto nasi goreng inside.
Yeah.
And one more thing I want to say again, because my role here is the psychology aspect. What she was saying just now about how particular you get about, like, you've cleaned your system, now you only want quality stuff. When you do the work, you will also realize life's like that. You've already cleaned out the way that you think. You won't want to hang out with people who bring toxicity into your life. You've only got so much time, right? So you've only got so much calories. Like, I want to spend it on the best kind of relationships
source ever. Yes.
Yeah. So your whole life becomes a metaphor for this fasting lifestyle.
Actually, that's also true. Toxic people like around me during fasting time.
Cleansing.
Oh my God! Okay, I'm not going to talk to you about my eating habits because you are so toxic to me right now.
Okay. Anyway, I want to say,
Yeah.
enjoy the journey. You're doing fantastic. I've been seeing your progress. You're doing very well, and I'm really proud that you are one of those people who are really championing whatever Sky Clinic talks about.
Yes.
And really proud of what you're doing. Fantastic. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Really
for
great.
having me here.
All right. Ciao.